All right, this is Starkey Sowers. Welcome again to another nutrition moment here at Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market. So check it out. More than once I've talked about Dr. Mercola's line. Dr. Mercola's line, just a couple things heads up. Obviously, it's Dr. Mercola, doctor formulated, best quality you can get your hands on. You're going to see that as we start to go through some of these particular items. The other thing to remember about Dr. Mercola too, he's always on the crux, so to speak, of anything that's scientific and breaking news sort of moments. So you know that you're going to get something that's not only latest, greatest, but at the same time, it's going to work in your body. All right. So that said, I kind of laid out most of the items that we carry. So I'm going to go through these things kind of simple and kind of quick. I think you'll be able to get these things, but ultimately there's kind of some unique little nuggets in between. One thing about Mercola is this: when he finds a product or he finds a niche where he needs to go, he comes out with the best possible ingredients to get results where nobody else is getting results. So I love that aspect, all right? So first of all, there's some basic stuff. So he pulls out this one he calls Essential Mineral Complex. A lot of people take a multivitamin. They might even be taking a mineral like calcium, magnesium, things of that nature. But oftentimes what's happening is you're missing some of the essential trace minerals, such as like chromium, manganese, some of the other different essential trace minerals. That's what that formula is kind of designed for, is like those that aren't getting the minerals in their multivitamin, which is very common. Most multivitamins are very small in the trace minerals. This is what makes up the gaps on the trace minerals. All right, so then when it comes to iron, as you know, there's so many digestive issues with iron. This is actually from organic curry. This particular form is designed not only to build the blood nice and easily, the other thing it's designed to do is not cause constipation or any type of digestive upsets. I've talked about this liquid zinc before. One thing I like about liquid zinc is this: if it's done properly, mind you, if it's done properly, you can take the liquid zinc, all right? Let's say you're taking a zinc, like I'm taking a zinc, and I did this the other day, thinking, you know what, I think I'm getting enough zinc in, but the fact of the matter is this: drop this on your tongue, let it sit there for a period of time, do a full dosage, I think it's like 20 drops. If you get an immediate, almost kind of like a fur or like a metal taste, that means you're deficient. So you want to use the bottle and then every week maybe just drop it on top of the tongue, leave it there for about a minute, and ultimately what you'll find out is slowly but surely that taste goes away. If you don't get the taste, it means you're not deficient, but chances are so many of us are absolutely deficient. Another unique moment is this: humic fulvic acid combinations. So usually typically where you're going to find humic acid, you're going to find fulvic acid. So humic acid is a larger molecule, fulvic acid is a smaller molecule. They're rich in trace minerals, but a couple different things. The humic acids are excellent for detoxifying heavy metals, and fulvic acid is amazing for the digestive system on nourishing it up and also getting into the bloodstream and pulling out heavy metals and detoxing them out of the body. That's a great combination put together, excellent for digestive like constraints and things of that nature. All right. Have you ever had a person that maybe you've talked with and stuff like that, or you might be this person? You've tried all sorts of different types of collagens and things of that nature. And let's say you're using collagen and you're getting results, but ultimately you're having to use scoops a day, things of that nature. Some people don't like taking collagen because obviously it's from a bovine source, right? So one of the things that we do know is this: when it comes to silica, it is a collagen builder. And what it does, it actually gets into the collagen areas, hair, skin, nails, bone. And what it actually does, it actually helps to form or actually catalyze the production of collagen in those particular areas, making it one of the most effective things that you can use to build collagen in the body. That said, one of the problems that you run into with silica is this: silica oftentimes is very difficult to absorb into the body. So they use you ready for this? It's a mouthful: monomethanol selenothiols compound, all right? And so what it actually does, very easy to get into the bloodstream, delivers from the bloodstream into the areas of collagen synthesis such as bones. Clinical evidence on it, stuff works amazing. That said, let's say it's a bone moment. Not only did they put their silica in here, they also use strontium. So remember, when it comes to strontium, there's different types of drugs that can be used to like strengthen bones, right? But you have the outer side of the bone and the inside of the bone. So what happens with a lot of the drugs is it strengthens the outside, but it also makes it more brittle for fractures. What happens when you're in a situation when you're using strontium, not only does it strengthen the outside, but also strengthens the inside of the bone, known as the trabecula. So what it basically does is not only helps with strengthening it, but also gives it like flexibility and pliability. Also with boron, of course helps to reduce the breakdown of estrogens, and it helps to accentuate bone healing, so to speak. All right, so one of the first people to come out with liposomal vitamins was Dr. Mercola. So a couple different things: liposomal vitamin C. Here's our liposomal vitamin C. One thing that happens with vitamin C, as you know, it's water soluble, it goes into the body. A lot of it doesn't ultimately get into the system. It gets into the bloodstream, but it kind of has a tendency to pass through. So what they did is this: they literally made a fat-soluble form. So what you'll notice is that's a fat-soluble compound, all right? So what happens in this particular situation, liposomal takes the vitamin C, puts it into a fat matrix, so the body absorbs it like a fat and gets it into the system, making it much more efficient to stay in the body and also to absorb and stay in the bloodstream for a longer period of time and deliver to the cell. Not a bad taste either. So that said, liposomal glutathione. Once again, glutathione is a tripeptide. Glycine, glutamine, cysteine, or NAC. So it's a tripeptide, means 3 particular amino acids together. Well, the body sees that as a protein. So one of the reasons why it's so difficult to raise those glutathione levels, because one of the things that happens, glutathione goes into the body sees that as a protein, goes, hey, let's digest it. Let's break it up into 3 separate things, reabsorb it, let it go to the liver, and let it do what it needs to do. Liposomal delivery, once again, becomes a fat compound, bypasses that mechanism, heads into the bloodstream, making it quicker and much easier to get those levels up. So let's say that you're not a fan of lipo when it comes to glutathione. NAC is one of the #1 things to raise those levels in the liver and get the body high amounts of natural glutathione with milk thistle. As you know, that's probably one of the greatest areas when it comes to building glutathione is in the liver. All right, I'm just kind of on this antioxidant thing. So I went with their vitamin C, their NAC. By the way, as you know, glutathione is the #1 antioxidant in the body cellularly. But then there's also this fun. This is fun stuff, astaxanthin. And so what you notice with astaxanthin is this. It's a specific compound found in different types of fruits, vegetables, in small concentrations. If you've ever sit in front of a computer screen for a long period of time and gotten little headaches and stuff like that, that's the blue light. So what we know is this is the astaxanthin actually helps to filter blue light, right? So as you're sitting next to your computer screen, you just grab one of these gummies, chew it up, 4 milligrams. Within no time, you're actually starting to notice a difference. Your eyes are more relaxed. They're not getting blown out from all the different blue lights, making this a great product to kind of have around, especially when you're spending time at the screen. So that kind of works a little bit on that antioxidant world. I'm going to go into cardiovascular now. So when you look at cardiovascular, beets, fermented beets, this is a great product. Beets are amazing for lowering blood pressure and helping with circulation. What they do is they increase the ability of the body to use oxygen, and it lessens the hype or the need for the cell to try to strive and get it. It ultimately makes it much more manageable. So then at the same time, one of the things that happens, especially as we get older, in the bloodstream, we produce what is known as fibrogenins. They're like little nets. They come from inflammation. So say, for instance, this morning, I worked out hard, and so I'm going to get fibrogen and proteins in the bloodstream. Ultimately, especially for me, I'm 65 years old. Guys will say, hey, once you hit 55, 60 years old, if you're a person that's lifting weights, take an aspirin after every workout. Well, I don't like aspirin. I don't want to take aspirin. So what happens is there's proteolytic enzymes, and they break down the fibrogens or the inflammation response that the body has. Mind you, a lot of these fibrogens actually add up and eventually cause clotting, blood clots, and also cardiovascular disease, all right? So the way to nail this down is to use nattokinase. I was going to bring some sauerkraut over and some kefir and things like that. Fermented foods have nattokinase in it. It's a natural compound that breaks down fibrogenins. But what's 30 times stronger is actually known as lumbrikinase. This comes from literally earthworms. It's also got some proteolytic enzymes in here as well too. It's a little bit stronger, so I tried using this today. But by the way, both of these uniquely different. They're delayed release. And what's cool about that is this, is the body kind of lets it in nice and easy, so you've got this constant anti-inflammatory response going in. Anyways, I finished squatting today. Back was a little bit tight, not bad. Use some lumbrikinase. Back feels really good. That's breaking down those fibrogenins in the bloodstream, making it that much better. Krill. Dr. Mercola has krill. In there, by the way, he's got the astaxanthin in there. Krill's a little bit different fatty acid. Remember that 1,000 milligrams of krill is equivalent to 3,000 milligrams of omega-3s that you'll typically get from fish source. But the thing that you're going to get in krill is this. It's got phospholipid compounds. Phospholipids means brain activity. Helps with calming the brain, helps with increasing memory, and also kind of helps clean up the compounds in the brain that can lead to other different types of problems. I'm not going to say the big word, but it's the A word. Alzheimer's is part of that netting process. It's not going to reverse Alzheimer's or anything like that, but it's definitely a benefit. At the same time, making it probably one of the best fat compounds that you can use as far as digestibility. So let me just show you that. Typical omega-3 fatty acid. By the way, I used olive oil. I didn't use krill or any type of omega-3. But what you'll notice is this. You take this as water and oil, right? You shake it up. Watch what's going to happen. Right away, you start to see the dissolve. Then it separates right back out. The fat is lighter than water, so it raises to the top. And of course, this is what happens in your digestive system. Mind you, your digestive system's designed to break it down. But what happens, especially with guys like me that can't digest the typical omega-3s, I burp and belch them all day long. So I was always struggling to find a specific way to get omega-3s in without the burp and the belch, all right? So you'll see right here on the top, I put some olive oil, same amount as the other one. And I put in here some krill oil. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shake it up. Mind you, that red look that you're seeing, of course, is Aztec xanthan. But what you're noticing is the foam on the top, just like your liver and your gallbladder would do to all the fats that go through your body, it's emulsified. Tiny, tiny, tiny specks of drops. Body absorbs this with no problem whatsoever, no burping, no belching, etc. Up and running, ready to roll. By the way, you don't have to drink it. You can take a capsule. So in that performance world, one thing that we actually know is this, especially we're talking about antioxidants earlier, and I probably should have thrown the hydrogen in with it. So this is a molecular stabilized hydrogen ion. Hydrogen ions are necessary for completing energy transportations and all sorts of crazy stuff. Let's put it simply, they're needed to give you a boost of energy, and they're also antioxidants throughout the whole body. So what's neat about it, there's been a lot of studies on molecular hydrogens as a specific gas. Years ago, a lot of guys in the gym would use different things like oxygen masks and stuff like that to boost their energy levels and kind of help. So what happens with molecular oxygen is this. When you take the tablet and drop it in here, and you're supposed to, by the way, drop it in, you want to drink it right out after it's actually done its thing. So you see it fizzing away, doing its thing, and it's releasing hydrogens into the water, okay? This is the pre-workout moment right here, bro. It's gonna change the energy cycle when it comes to going to the gym, making it something of unique when it comes to energy moments. Interesting, physitine and spermidine, specific different types of compounds. Physitine is very effective in the following. It actually helps with the body's what is known as autophagia. It's the house cleaning of the cells. In the cells, let's say for instance, you got a bunch of mitochondria. They start dying out. What happens with physitine is stimulates the body to basically cause that autophagia to clean up that cell and get rid of debris, which ultimately cause that cell to misfunction and eventually become disease-ridden. Spermidine, a little bit different, it's amino acid. And so what happens in that particular situation, it stimulates the immune system to be effective in finding those cells that need to die. Oftentimes there are cells that need to die and they're just hanging on for life, and they create all sorts of types of inflammation, and they're actually known to lead to disease. Specifically, spermidine helps the body eliminate that. So as we're talking about mental activity, mental health, anti-aging, longevity, things of that nature, you gotta go with the mushroom coffee, all right? So the mushroom coffee, it's an instant coffee, all right? Got all sorts of amounts of lion's mane in it, making it like one of the greatest types of blends to give you a little perk. You got the caffeine for the mental alertness, as well as the lion's mane. This particular coffee, of course, is a biodiversity, organically grown, sustainable environment, making it like one of the best things you get your hands on. Mandy's on the other side with me today. She's filming, she likes coffee. So here comes the ham. We're gonna have her check it out and see what we can get. Tell me what you think, Mandy. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. What's up with that? Thumbs up? Yep. We were talking earlier before the show. Mandy was talking about how there's no gritty taste. A lot of the mushroom compounds, coffees, are so oftentimes have like a gritty flavor. It's in with this. Berberine, GLP-1. So popular right now. Berberine helps the body produce GLP-1s, which of course a lot of people use in the drugs. Along with chromium, this is a great product to help with not only weight management, also blood sugar. But when it comes to weight management, there's an apple extract that's available that you can get in raw material. Dr. Mercola pulls it in, puts it in there. It's specific for belly fat. And I think that kind of ends the day. Everyone is always freaked about belly fat. All right, this is Starkey Sowers. Thanks for watching another episode here at Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market.